A few days ago, we broke down the Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay introduction trailer. Missed that video, check it out. And we got confirmation on our first look at a ton of features. But in all honesty, the biggest takeaway most have right now is just how beautiful, detailed, and vast this open world is. But what I found most interesting were some of the teases at things that many of us didn't expect to see. So today we're going to take a look at some of the features we're still awaiting confirmation on, some of the latest small details found, and when our next gameplay trailer is coming. But if you're not already subscribed, consider doing so, as I'm one of your best sources on everything Red Dead Redemption 2, and prepare for our next journey into the West by getting the popular Red Moon or Wanted shirt designs. If you're interested in getting these Red Dead themed t-shirts or any of the other designs, there will be a link in the description as well. So to start, right now it's a waiting game on Rockstar Games for the next episode of the gameplay series. As mentioned in the gameplay introduction,
in the next gameplay video, we'll look at missions, activities, enemy gangs, robberies, other things to do, and much more, including the evolution of sharpshooting using the Deadeye system.
I've gotten tons of messages asking when is that coming, and right now my guess is there will probably be 4 parts, each coming every 2 weeks, and the last one arriving about a month before launch, covering Red Dead Online, which is what Rockstar did with Grand Theft Auto 5 back in 2013. So right now I expect the next one sometime next week, and I do believe this week we may hear something on the Red Dead merchandise, and possibly a newswire post with high definition images of the artwork that's right now on display on billboards in New York, which we actually discussed I believe a week ago. Either way, good news is there won't be a massive multiple months wait for more footage. It's coming in the next week or two. But now, continuing on, one of the biggest question marks many have right now is on the desert tease within the gameplay trailer. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game that is east of the first game's setting, and all the areas and regions featured are drawing inspiration from mostly the American heartlands. From the leaked map, that has been proven to be true. There is no section representing desert, which makes me believe that this map is not actually complete, and what I'm starting to think is that Mexico will indeed be featured. The animal that is actually shown is of a Gila monster, which has been native to South Arizona and the northwestern part of Mexico. There has been some theories saying the specific scene may be of Gaptooth Ridge from Red Dead Redemption, but I personally don't believe anything aligns up. I believe that this is going to be another region south of the whole map that probably by boat we'll be visiting. To be a little bit more specific, I think it'll be just east of Diaz Coronas, and probably it'll be another region a part of Nuevo Paraíso, which actually may make sense because of the pre-order bonuses that are inspired by that territory that was last featured in Red Dead Redemption. For those who obviously will comment that that specific animal is native to the northwestern part of Mexico and that this wouldn't make sense to be on the eastern part, this is a fictional map, a fictional world, and many of the locations shown so far are inspired by the American heartland, but there are other locations from all across the United States. Hell, one of the forests looks inspired by the redwood trees in California. But I will admit, I at first thought it was a bit strange not including a desert, mainly because Red Dead Redemption featured, I believe, like somewhere around 70 to 80% of just that. So this little tease that Rockstar gave us is a pleasant surprise. Now, another region we actually need to discuss is again south of the map, and that being the mysterious separate region that we first saw on the leaked map. Many of us have assumed it would be similar to Grand Theft Auto 5's North Yankton, and from the locations mentioned on this minimap we have El Hueco, which is Spanish and can be translated to mean the hollow, and it serves as a caravan camp. Levitage doesn't really have a translation, but Village La does, and it's Haitian Creole, meaning the village, and on the map it serves as a town. Cinco Torres is Spanish for 5 towers, and it's not clear what it represents, but if I had to guess it would be a military base. And lastly, there appears to be a landmark here, but it's not clear what it's called. But guessing right now, it appears that this location may be inspired by Haiti, and maybe at some point in the story the gang heads south, hiding away from the American authorities. Within the latest gameplay trailer, we got a brief tease at a broken down church, and we've seen that art style before in one of the images that was shown back in May with a wolf. We also got a mention of one of the locations on that minimap in the latest gameplay trailer, with that being Cinco Torres, as Arthur Morgan enters a general store, one of the items seen is Guarma rum coming from Cinco Torres. We also see some sort of gunfight breaking out in a cabin which looks to be south of the map, and you'll notice bananas in this scene which are commonly grown in places like Haiti and Mexico, and mainly places that are south of the border. It can't really be certain if this is indeed Haiti or another island country like maybe Cuba, but either way, it seems sometime in the story the gang will head south, which interestingly, Butch Cassidy's Wild Bunch, who inspires Dutch's gang, most notably ended up heading to South America to avoid arrest, so this possibly may be Rockstar's sort of inspired take on the real-life gang, but either way, it does seem that this mysterious desert location is not connected to this small island location. But continuing on, since we are on the topic of story, one big detail that I missed in my last video discussing my theory on how the game starts is that on the leaked map it's shown in the Grizzlies with writing under it saying intro, which supports the theory that the game opens up with the gang robbing Blackwater and heading into the mountains to avoid arrest, which at some point the Great Blizzard of 1899 hits and the authorities think they're dead, which may mean for a period of time, maybe at the start, things are good until the authorities realize we're alive and doing things that you would expect out of an outlaw like robbing banks and trains. Also interestingly, in the Grizzlies region is the Adler Ranch, which makes me wonder either Sadie Adler joins the gang for whatever reason after the Blackwater robbery, or Sadie is a part of the gang already and tells them to hide out in her family's ranch. For those curious, I won't be diving too much deeper into the story details going forward, as I think we all want this experience to be a surprise, so just an FYI. But there has been some other small details found that I do want to mention, with one of those being in that same general store shown earlier, we got to look at another location on the leaked map, and that being Big Valley. In the saloon, it does look like we get a look at some of the working girls. On the heads-up display, it looks like another mini game was spotted, with that being Five Finger Filet. Rockstar will be using cents in Red Dead Redemption 2, which may mean gaining money could possibly be harder to come by. Some believe that there may be romance options based on an interaction that Arthur has with one of the gang members, but honestly it's difficult to say, but personally I would love to see that as an option. Lastly, we get a look at some of the stealth mechanics in the game as Arthur crouches with his bow and arrow and his appearance on the heads-up display disappears. Now to our last part of this video, let's discuss some of the unconfirmed gameplay features that we're awaiting confirmation on. All of this information comes from the Trusted Review leak that came back in February, in which that website actually received some never before seen images of Dutch and Arthur, as well as a ton of details on Red Dead Redemption 2's gameplay. Most of this information has proven to be true, but some of the details and features that we have yet to hear from Rockstar Games officially are the first person mode, gold mining, herding, weapon challenges. This Trusted Review leak mentions a slums market that we'll be able to visit for a reduced price on equipment. My first guess would be a location like Van Horn. Vehicles are mentioned, and while we already know there will be carriages and handcarts, interestingly, it said we'll have different variations such as armored and fast ones, although it's never noted if we can customize them ourselves like in Grand Theft Auto with something like cars. Horsemanship challenges can be completed to increase our rider rank, but these are just some of the features that we have not gotten a confirmation on yet. But I fully expect within the gameplay series we should get a detailed account and confirmation on most of this. Anyway, we discussed a lot of new details today, so make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value, and consider subscribing for much more Red Dead Redemption 2 content to come, and remember, Outlaws for life.